Today we are going to be making a fun sunflower card using the Impressions Abloom stamp set and dies with a couple other fun featured products. You're not going to want to miss this. It's a fun fold that's super easy to do, and this card packs a super big wow. I was just loving it. I have made so many of them because I have just loved the design, and I know you will too. So let's get started. Okay, so here is the Impressions Abloom stamp set and dies. They are these gorgeous, distinctive two-step stamps. And so two-step just means you're going to stamp the outline, which is what I like to stamp first in these kind of stamp sets. And then you fill it in with some color. So we're going to use this one today, and we're going to use some of the leaves and some other things in there to create some fun sunflowers. Sunflowers are all the buzz right now with, August and autumn, and it's just that time of year. My team and my customers are just all abuzz about sunflowers. So every time I see a sunflower, I am just as excited, and so thought I would create a fun sunflower card with you today. So here are the dies. So you can stamp these and die cut them out, but you can also just die cut with some cardstock, designer paper, and then also die cut this one. It's going to give the details of the stamp. There are two kind of shape dies. So this one is a solid shape, so it's going to die cut out this oval for us, if I could grab it there. So it's going to die cut this oval for us. And then this one is a border die. So it's actually going to die cut just that border, and you can put the two together as well. So we've got leaves and all kinds of fun. Some other fun products that we will be using alongside this stamp set today. We've got another stamp set that we're going to use, Blooming Phrases. We're going to use this just because, but I really love this stamp set. It gives lots of great all occasion greetings that you can use for all occasions, right? And then what's fun is these edges here of those words. You can actually build some florals along the, these would be like the stem. And so you could put the leaves along there, or you could put the flowers at the end. So it's a really, really fun set. And I think it goes with all of our floral sets that we have. Of course, we couldn't do a sunflower card without a sunflower embossing folder, right? And so we have this great big, beautiful sunflower 3D embossing folder. So we're going to be using that to add a little bit of texture to our card. And we're going to be using some designer paper. So this is the Floral Impressions designer paper, and it goes with that Impressions Abloom stamp set. This page here, let me find it, is my favorite because look, it's like a rainbow of florals. It's so beautiful. Like you almost don't even want to cut it, right? They're all beautiful, but I love those. We've got some fun sunflower paper, great back sides as well, and so we're going to feature that today too. So we've got lots to get going on. Let me show you our card today. I know you're dying to see it, so we're going to make a Just Because card. See those beautiful Impressions Abloom that we made into sunflowers? We've got the DSP there. You can see those dies that I talked about, and then look, Fun Fold opens. It's really easy, and then as it opens and lays flat, it kind of flips around. So it is a really fun card to make, which is probably why I made just boatloads of them. So let's get started. Let's do our card base first. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer here, and this is just a full-size piece of crumb cake. Now remember, if you're on my weekly Buzz Bulletin email list, it's totally free to join. You can join on my blog at stampingqueenbee.com, and I actually email you out every week the measurements, the supply list, the step-by-step instructions, the picture, and a replay of today's video. to everyone who's on my email list. So you don't have to write down any of the measurements or anything like that. You just get to watch and enjoy and be inspired, and then I will email that out to you later today. So we've got this full-size sheet of crumb cake, and we're just going to cut it in half the long way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some scoring. So we're going to score it just like we would a regular card base at 5.5. So we're going to score that. And then we're also going to score it at 2 3/4. So really, really easy to create this fun fold. And that's it. That is the hardest part of today's card. So we're just going to go ahead and fold this in half. So we've got just our regular size card base there, right? And then we're going to take this other piece and we're going to just fold it back. And so that really creates the bones of our card today. Really, really easy. I love fun folds, but even more than that, I love fun folds that are easy and not complicated. And so let's put together some of our DSP here. I've already pre-cut this for us. So we've got just a regular layer 1 that we're going to put right on the inside of our card. Isn't that side pretty too? It's always so hard to decide which to use, right? So the problem solver for that is to buy 2 packs of all the paper you really love, and then you can use both sides and not feel sad, right? So we're just going to go ahead and add that right to the inside piece of our card there. And then we've got 2, I thought that was upside down, but it's not, 2 designer series paper layers. And so we're just going to put those right on those 2 panels. So we're just add some liquid glue to that. And the bones of this card are so easy, and you could really use this design for so many different cards. So I actually have one of these made in my fun fold pattern box as just an example, so that whenever I'm like, ooh, I want to make a fun fold, I can just have them as, you know, my examples. I'm visual, like probably most of you are, and so I love just having the actual what it looks like versus a sticky note with all kinds of numbers on it. Then that will confuse me, right? So we've got that right there. Easy peasy so far. We're going to take our die cut oval. This is just on basic white. And so this one, we're just going to add some liquid adhesive, and we're going to just center this right on the inside of our card. I just like to kind of hold it there a second, just in case, right? Then we've got this beautiful piece, which is that frame. This is out of crushed curry. It is the perfect sunflower color. And so actually a little trick on this, because it's such a detailed piece, is I just bring in my silicone mat. If you don't have one of these silicone mats, I totally recommend getting a couple of them. I use them for all kinds of things. You can I left a little bit of glue on here from my last project because I wanted you to see, look how easy this is. If you have glue on there, all you do is just kind of rub it. You see it kind of balls up, and then you have a super clean mat. So you can just do that in any area that there's glue buildup. And so what's great about that is you can actually put glue directly to the silicone mat, dip your pieces in there. With something like this, I like to just put it on top of my silicone mat. It won't get my desk all sticky, right? And then I just am gonna go along these edges and kind of lightly scrape it. So I'm not really getting like a full glue blob on there. I'm just kind of scraping it along. But see, I have my silicone mat here, so my desk is not getting all gunky, right? Okay, so we've got that all around there. Move this out of the way. And we're just gonna frame this inside piece. So I'm just gonna kind of set this right around the edge here. It fits so perfectly. And then any that gushes, you can easily just wipe away. You can use your adhesive eraser. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful already, right? With just that pretty border on there. So then we're gonna kind of close this up, and you'll see that will be the front of our card. And then what I did is I die cut another one of these plain ovals, and then after I die cut it, I ran it through my sunflower embossing folder, and then I was able to get this beautiful impression of the sunflower to give all of that beautiful texture. So there are so many things you can do with this folder, but I love just using it to add that beautiful texture to the card. It doesn't even need, this is just basic white, right? It doesn't even need to be on anything fancy. It's beautiful just as it is. So then I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Dimensionals, and here's my little trick for this. So we always wanna put this inside piece first and center that, because now we know where to put, now we know where to put this piece, because I want it to still look like it has this beautiful crushed curry border around it, even when the card is closed. So that's how I will line this up, because I did this first. If you put this one on first and try to line the bottom one up, it's just a bit harder. So that is what I like to do. And then I just take my dimensionals here and put them along the edge. See, I know that it's the same size as this white, so I'm just gonna put these along the edge here, because I know it will stick right to that, right? So we've got the backings off of there. I know it's gonna go on this way, so now I'm just gonna do the edges on the other side. I'll just give them like maybe 3 here. And then we probably need one in the middle, so I'll just go ahead and add one more up on here. And then it makes it really easy, so we're just gonna, like I said, line this up so that it still has that beautiful crushed curry border showing. And so then when it opens, it flips around, right? We don't want any dimensionals on this side, which is why I put them to the base. And so that really is all the basics of our card there. Now we're going to do some stamping to finish this up, but isn't that just a beautiful fun fold that's really easy to do? I love how it showcases the DSP and that beautiful texture of the embossing folder. So let's do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in, this is just a piece of basic white, and we're going to start stamping all of these beautiful sunflowers. So you're going to need 3 for this card and a bunch of leaves. And so let's start with our leaves. I've got Old Olive here. So I just open that up. Also got a scratch paper. I'll put right here some scratch grid paper, because we're going to do some stamping off. So I've got the leaf stamp that is the outline edges. And so we're just stamp. And what I love to do when I get a set like this, well, any set really, is I just take a full-size sheet of basic white and I just stamp, 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 and die cut the whole thing. And so that way I can really see, and then I have a whole bunch of pieces. And then once I have them die cut out and everything, then I just can keep them right inside my stamp case, ready to use for my next project. So now I've got the fill-in part of the 2-step stamping, and so for this one, I'm gonna use the same Old Olive here, but I'm actually gonna stamp it off twice, and then I'm gonna go right over here and fill that in. So it just gives it just a slight bit of color to fill that in. You could use a lighter green as well, but what I found was I really liked the Old Olive stamped off a few times so that it looked closest to the actual old olive. And if you only stamp off once, it works too. It just creates a bit darker of a leaf there. So that's why I stamped off twice and just filled those in. So that is our leaf with old olive. Now let's do some of our flowers here, our sunflowers. So we're gonna bring in some crushed curry. Open that up. And with our crushed curry, we're actually gonna do the outline of this stamp. So I'm just gonna ink this up. And so the same thing is, I really just love to ink and stamp, ink and stamp, ink and stamp all the way down my paper. Now, normally I would just fill this whole thing in, but to save us a little time, I won't do that today. I'll just show you a few. So now I'm gonna close up my crushed curry, and I'm gonna bring in my lemon lolly. You could use Daffodil Delight, but they are so close when stamped together on here that I found lemon lolly to be a better fit, especially once it dried. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. And a little tip here, so this is why I like to stamp the detailed part first. It's usually darker. And so for me and my eyes, it's just easier for me to see through the darker to line this up. And so my little trick for lining this up is to look always for like an oddball part of the flower. And so there is this little 3, looks like this to me, like 3 fingers, right? We're holding up, right? So I look for that, and then I look at the center to make sure that's lined up. And then we're just gonna go ahead and stamp this down. I like to hold it there for a second so the color all transfers. And then look how that fills in so beautifully. And so we'll just go through and line these up. Okay, and one more here. You're actually gonna need 3 of these flowers and like 4 or 5 of the leaves. But like I said, if you just stamp an entire sheet, you will love, if you just stamp an entire sheet, die cut it all, then you have all of these parts and pieces to play with. So I've got pecan pie here, and I'm gonna use this center flower that's sort of speckled. It really looks like the center of a sunflower to me. And so we're just gonna put this in the center and stamp that down. Oh, that one was a little bit off. When you're looking through the camera, that one was better. The other great thing about stamping a whole bunch is that if you make a mistake, well, you still have a whole bunch more, right? And what I would probably do is get that grid paper, my scratch grid paper, and stamp it off, and then go back over it to kind of fill any parts that I missed, and it kind of colors it in. So that's another little trick too. Okay, so we're going to close this up, and then we would die cut all of these pieces out using those beautiful dies. It's really easy. It's just 1 die for this and 1 die for this. And we actually get in our set, you can see they actually gave us 2 leaf outlines. I was so excited because you can cut 2 out at a time. And then this one here will cut out the outline of our flower. So the magic of today, to make it a bit faster, you can see, look at how much I was playing because I stamped a bunch of pages of these and die cut them all out. And so now I'm ready to create with these all these fun pieces, right? And so that's what we're gonna do. So I'll have those to the side for us. And we're gonna stamp our sentiment here. So let me grab this because I wanted to show you, here's a long strip because I really wanted to show you how to use these fun builder words. So we've got our block here. We're going to use just because today. So I'm going to pull this out. You can see we've got this beautiful just because. So I'm going to lay this on my table, and I'm actually going to just set this right on my block here. And then if you wanted to do a leaf, which we aren't going to use today, but I want to show you real quick how fun and easy that is to put together. And let me grab a block for that one. Love having multiple block sets because then I don't have to worry about changing colors or changing stamps or changing them all in between, right? So I'm just inking up my just because here, and we're going to stamp this all the way to the left of our piece here. So we've got our, oh, that didn't come out. Okay, let's try that again on the other side. So stamp and hold down so we make sure that we get all that ink transferred. Much better. Okay, and then we have our little leaves here that we can put on the end. So there's flowers and leaves and all kinds of things. So I'll bring in my old olive again. And so this is this stamp set here. So if we turn our sentiment we just stamped and ink up our leaves, we can stamp this right over. And look how fun and beautiful that sentiment becomes with that extra little addition on the side. Now we aren't going to use that today, but I really wanted you to see just how beautiful that looks with something on the end. I've never seen a stamp set like that, and that's probably why this was a must-have for me. Okay, so for today's card though, we're going to snip this off, and so I have just found if you snip it straight, it's the easiest, right after the E, and so then it doesn't look like we cut it off, right? And we'll save those for another project maybe. And now we're going to bring back in our card, and we're going to start putting together all of this fun. So we've got our sentiment, that's what we're going to do first. And we've got our dimensionals here. And remember, you can always cut the ends of your dimensionals if you need them a little bit smaller. This one fits, so we're just going to go ahead and add 3 dimensionals right to the back of our sentiment here. And then we're just going to put this at the bottom of our sunflower embossed here, just like so. So we're just kind of centering it on that embossed oval. And then we're going to bring in some of these flowers that I've already cut for us and the leaves, and we're actually going to glue. So we're just going to take a couple of them. So this is why it's fun to have a whole bunch to play with. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue down. If they hang over, it's okay. I'm going to glue down 2 of these. And if you notice, I'm just putting glue in the center so that I can slip some fun leaves kind of behind. And so we'll just grab some leaves now. Same thing, liquid glue. And you can really just go to town playing with these. And I put 4 on the other, but you can really put as many or as few leaves as you like. So let's get one more kind of peeking from the bottom there. I like to just kind of slide them under, then you can really see how you want them on your card. And then on my sample, I did one more. Got 2 there in my hand. I did one more kind of peeking at the top here. So wherever you see that you'd like some leaves, but see, they can hang over. It's okay, because when it opens, it can still hang over and be fine, because when it opens, it lays flat, right? Okay, and then we're going to take one more, a 3rd flower here, and they're all the same, so it doesn't really matter, right? And we're just gonna add one dimensional to the center here of this one. And this one we're gonna pop up. And I just kind of played with it. You can put like a little bit of the petal over it, and you have this cluster. So now we have this cluster of 3 flowers. We have it centered over that beautiful frame behind. You can see all the beautiful paper. Oh, I just love this card. So I can't wait to hear how much you all love this card. We're gonna put our finishing touches on it. And so here's my example. So you can see I've got a couple of, when we open this, we've got 3 of our embellishments here. And I am actually using these textured dots. These just went on our last chance list. So if you don't have these, you might want to get them. They are so beautiful. And they are these textured dots. So if you're watching this later and we don't have these, I'm so sorry, but they are, they just went to last chance yesterday, right? So we're gonna put one of these up at the top and a couple of these at the bottom. I just think they look kind of vintagey, fall-ish. They go beautifully with our sunflowers. And then we need a linen thread bow here. And so a little fun thing I like to do is tie a double bow. But what I like to do is I keep this little bin, and it's just a little container store, a little bin, and I will just sit and tie a whole bunch of linen thread bows because I use them a lot, and now they're just ready to go. And so I have, you know, a bunch of those. So let me grab a mini glue dot. So you could do that while you're watching TV or in just downtime. If you're having a non-creative moment, which we all do, and you just want to do something, it's kind of good because you don't have to think a lot. So if you're watching a show or YouTube videos, it's really easy to just kind of do that and watch and pay attention. So I like to stick mine to a mini glue dot and then just peel it right off. Now the adhesive is on there, and I'm just gonna put this kind of to the top right there. And I liked to do that because then it's kind of behind my focal piece, right? But it still shows. So it shows when it opens and closes. And I thought that was just a fun design there. So that is today's card. Isn't that fun? I'll show you this way as well. So it really makes a fun, easy fun fold. And I know that so many of you are going to do these, and I can't wait to see your designs and how you put these together. So you'll have to tell me in the comments if you are all the rage about our sunflowers like all my friends in Team R and I am, or if you are loving this fun fold. I want to hear that as well. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week for another fun card tutorial. Have a great one.